Hi, everybody. For class today, we're going to do a 7-1 to 7-3 review. Um, Today, we're going to do three problems that are focused on the three things we covered. 7-1 was classifying polynomials. 7-2 is adding and subtracting them. You won't be doing any subtracting today, but really the same idea, just combining like terms and multiplying polynomials. So your first problem you should get handed out. We're finding the area of this triangle to start with, and then there's more where we're classifying down below. So we have two dimensions for this triangle. The 4c minus 2 is called the base, and the 3c squared minus 2c plus 3 is the height. So the area for a triangle, if you don't remember, is in that box to the right, half the product of the base and the height. So don't overthink it. Really what we're just doing, follow order of operations, we're going to do the base times the height. So we're going to take that 4c minus 2 polynomial and multiply it by the 3c squared minus 2c plus 3 polynomial. So after multiplying those, which you should use that box method for, you're going to divide by 2. And what that looks like is just dividing each term of your answer by 2. You shouldn't end up with too ugly of numbers. Don't be afraid of getting something like a 2.5, but most of them should come out to whole numbers. All right, so let's pause the video, and in a few minutes, we'll move on to the next page. All right, so you should have had some time to try and answer this. Here's all of my work written out. So I did what I told you guys to do, which is take those two polynomials and multiply them. I got that organized in my box to the right. So 4c times 3c squared got me 12c cubed. Negative 2c times 4c, that got me negative 8c squared. 4c times 3 is 12c. 3c squared times negative 2, negative 6c squared. That's a like term with negative 8c squared, so I circled them. Negative 2 times negative 2c is positive 4c. That's a like term with 12c, so I circled them. And then negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. So I wrote that out after combining like terms. And then my final answer there is everything divided by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6, negative 14 divided by 2 is 7, and so on. And my answer is in standard form because it is c cubed, c squared, c, and then no c's. That's what we call standard form. So the next part of this is classifying the polynomial. So I have our answer for part A, the first part, written up on the board here so that you can reference it in case you didn't get the same thing as me. So we're classifying this. We're finding the lead coefficient and we're finding the degree. This shouldn't take a whole lot of time, but again, we'll pause the video and in a minute or two, we can take a look at the answer. So here we have classification, polynomial. Anything 4 terms or bigger is a polynomial. So if it were 3 terms, it'd be a trinomial, 2 terms is a binomial, and 1 term is a monomial. But this is a polynomial. We just use that for anything 4 terms or longer. Lead coefficient is 6 because our lead term is 6c cubed. So lead coefficient is the number on the lead term. And the degree is 3. That's the highest exponent on a variable we see in the problem, 6c cubed. So degree is 3. Next problem you should get handed out. Similar, but a little more challenging. So you're going to want to take some time on finding the area for this one. But we're starting with the perimeter. So this is an isosceles trapezoid, which just means that those two slanted lines are going to be the same. They're both going to be 4y. Those are called the legs. And then there's two bases. That's the flat bottom and the flat top. The bottom one is 4x squared minus 5x plus 2. And the top is 2x plus 3. The perimeter is just the sum of all the sides. Now, because that 2x minus 4 is not one of the sides, it's the height of the whole thing, you're not using that polynomial. You're adding the 4y for both slants, so you're going to need 2 of those. And then the top and bottom bases are your 4 sides. You should only be adding together 4 things. So take a few minutes, pause the video, and we'll take a look at the answer in a second. All right, so we should get There's not a lot of work to show here because we're just adding terms together, polynomials together. You should get 4x squared. That didn't combine with anything. It was the only x squared. Minus 3x. We had a positive 2x and a negative 5x. So that makes a negative 3x. So minus 3x. Plus 8y. The two 4y's from the legs. Those don't combine with any of the x's because there wouldn't be any like terms. So plus 8y. And then we have a plus 3 and a plus 2 that combine into a plus 5. Next thing we're going to do is find the area. So I'm going to go back and look at the area formula here. It is height times base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. So if we follow order of operations, we're going to add the top and the bottom bases. Then we're going to divide that by 2 by dividing each term by 2. And then we're going to multiply that height, 2x minus 4, times the answer we get from base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. So this is a longer problem, but if you can do this, you should feel really good about where you're at this chapter so far. So let's do that in order and give it a try. I'll show the answer and probably take a little more than 5 minutes for this one for sure. So pause the video and we'll look at the answer when I'm back. Okay, so answer for this one. There's a lot of work shown here, but let me take you through it step by step. So following order of operations. That first step there, a equals all this stuff. What's on the top of that fraction bar, those were the two bases, the two flat ones on top and bottom. So I added those together. That next step there, 4x squared minus 3x plus 5 is what I get from combining like terms. And then from that step to the next one is where I divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Minus 3 divided by 2 is minus 1.5x. And then 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. Now we multiply the height by that result. So if you look over to the right, that's where you'll see my box method where I multiply those. I have the 2x and the minus 4 on the left, and then the 2x squared minus 1.5x plus 2.5 on the top. Fill in all my boxes, all whole numbers. I guess I was nice to you here. And then the x squareds were like terms, so I circled them. The x's were like terms, so I circled them, and it comes out to 4x cubed minus 11x squared plus 11x minus 10. Now I got the two answers up here, just for your reference. We're going to classify both of these now. So just like classifying the last one, the fact that it's a big old trapezoid doesn't matter anymore. Now we're just classifying them. So take a minute or two. I'll pause the video. When you're done, we'll look at the answers. All right, both of these are 4-term polynomials. The lead coefficient for the perimeter is 4 and the degree is 2 because that lead term is 4x squared. So the exponent, the biggest exponent's a 2, and the coefficient there is a 4. For the area, the lead coefficient is also a 4, but it's got a degree of 3 because it's got a 4x cubed. So again, the biggest exponent becomes your degree, and whatever the coefficient on that term is becomes your lead coefficient. So both of these were 4-term polynomials. And that's it for the kind of work along with me type problems. The last thing you're going to do, and this is going to be your assignment, quote unquote. I'm not going to look at this for a grade, but you have most of the rest of class to do this. You're doing all the same work, but just for a rectangle. So this one that I'm asking you to do on your own should be the easiest of the three, should be the most straightforward because the rectangle is the easiest shape. I will be taking a look at this on Thursday, so please make sure you get it done. Should have a lot of time left in class at this point, so good luck. I'll see you guys Thursday.